Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Sid. I mean, it was just a tremendous set of perspectives, and I think one of the things I got from, a number of things I got from your talk, a lot of the things that are changing that we've been talking about for 5-10 years now are starting to accelerate, and these gentlemen who are from major, major industrial companies will have a lot to say about that because they're at the forefront of it. What I just wanted to say, just to introduce myself, one thing that really pisses me off, and has always pissed me off, is the gazillions of dollars that we spend on cybersecurity stuff and never really feel like we're getting more secure as a result. And I think this is a tremendously acute problem for what I call the IoT. We're calling industrial IoT, digital transformation, all of those things. And it's especially acute for CISOs, who are, and I've had this conversation with numerous CISOs who will say, I don't have the time, the money, the skills and people and the tools to deal with the enhanced threat landscape I'm looking at in IT, and I'm falling behind there. Oh, and now my leadership wants me to do the industrial production integrity and risk management. How do I do this? All right, and I think one of the things that Sid, I think, sharpened in his talk relating to that point is how different it is to do, I'll call it security, but really risk management for industrial production and for digital transformation, IoT, whatever you call the buzzword. And it's extremely heterogeneous across industries and even within companies. And that's a key point because that really drives the remediation strategies, totally unlike in the IT world, which, hate to say it because you'll all disagree to some extent, pretty symmetrical. All right, both the threat and the vulnerability landscapes, whereas in OT, they're completely different from place to place. And I'll come back to that in a sec. But so that's the thing that pisses me off. And where we came to it is way back in 2002, I founded a company called Bayshore Networks, which I think some of you may have heard of. They're still going. I left there about 3 years ago. And Bayshore was focused on making boxes. Security devices. 10 years ago, I created a technology that we sold as the SCADA firewall. All right, my background is process engineering, and I worked on one of the earliest DCS systems in the oil business. Now, 30 years later, we're having a major change, finally, as it says, it takes 20 or 30 years. But so I was at the beginning of the last one. And so we realized quickly, or I realized, that the box approach isn't going to work. All right, I spent some time as a vice president at Fortinet, helping them with IoT strategy, and then I founded a company called Inside Cyber Group, which is where I am now. And what we do at Inside Cyber is managed IoT security. So you all know managed security services. Well, we do that from a specific focus on IoT, OT, and ICS. And here's where we come at this. Okay. We started with the concept of radar. Okay, how does radar work? You put sensors everywhere in the sky, all right, and assuming that your sensor fusion and your analytics are good enough, you get out of that a comprehensive view, comprehensive situational awareness that if you're doing it right, it will pinpoint the things you need to worry about and give you a menu of remediations, things you can do about them. And all the rest of it will tell you forget about that, okay? So it's a force multiplier. And what we did, we built a platform to support our managed services that does exactly that. And that's all detailed stuff, but it comes down to pervasive instrumentation. We call that network radar. Well, so how do you do that in a way that's manageable and cost effective at global scale? Those are the problems that we've been working in, and artificial intelligence is a huge part of it. So what we did, and we're actually announcing this at the ARC Forum, the platform that we built, we're going to give it away as a free product. And this is the product, this is the platform that we've been using to deliver services. So if anybody's interested, you want to get your hands on it, just call me up or talk to me and grab me at the forum or come see us at our booth. And one thing the last thing I'm going to say, I just wanted to point out the artificial intelligence perspective on this. That's another one of those big buzzwords. I mean, artificial intelligence is real. Its applicability to different realms is the subject. That's buzzword territory. All right, but this is one of the things we figured out. Sid said multiple times, he's absolutely right. We need a new cybersecurity approach. Because what we've been doing doesn't work. All right, on multiple dimensions it fails. All right, and so a new approach is needed that substantially, well, takes the square root of the cost and time curve. Okay, if you can't do that, you don't really have an approach. All right, because otherwise, traditional approaches scale with the problem. Okay, not going to work. In a digital transformation world where everything is changing, here's what we found out. If you can apply artificial intelligence, deep learning, there's 3 or 4 other different styles, all right, that apply to this. In the IT realm, and it's pretty symmetric. It works pretty well because the problem spaces are the threat landscape, the vulnerability profile, and the risk profile, the impact profile are very, very similar, okay? And at Bayshore, one of the reasons we had trouble is because we set out to build a platform that could integrate knowledge about particular industrial processes and machines and devices as they change and transform. Not a scalable approach, not manageable. You don't get there, okay? You just don't get to where you need to be. So we started working on this. If you were to take artificial intelligence, right, which means learning patterns, right? And you can find, and you all have read all the books and seen all the movies about this, and it's a training process. You pick features and you spend weeks and weeks, maybe months, training your models, and now you've got a model that works well for some particular domain. That's a real problem in industrial settings and in the IoT because every place, even every plant within one industry, within one company, are radically different in terms of the things that they do and the ways that they behave that are going to produce signals relevant to cybersecurity, risk management, and continued availability and process integrity. Okay, so what we've been working on is a way to train the AI automatically and quickly within hours and days rather than laboriously by hand using feature analysis over weeks and months. And we think this is going to work. It gets you, and this is another one of my big themes, right? Security, people who think a lot about security think about 100%. I've heard many people that I respect tremendously say, the bad guy only needs to be right once, I need to be right every single time. You're not going to get there with that approach, all right? And I think that business leaders, are fully cognizant of the fact that if they want to move forward in all these different realms, you have to dial back. If you go from 100% secure, nothing bad ever happens, and I know about everything that's going on, fully uncontrollable, okay, can't get there at scale. Step that back to 85, 95, 90%, and you know when something's going on and you have a remediation path that's generated by the AI, that's not bad. That's better than where we're at now, okay? And if you can do that so that the models that are automatically generated in the AI are bespoke for each individual plant environment, that's the key thing. That's what's been missing. So that's one of the things that we're working on in my company. And thank you for listening.